The fire in Richards Bay, that's in KZN, has now started spreading to another part of the Woodchip Mill. In fact, that's as firefighters continue with their efforts to try to contain this runaway blaze. Newzroom Afrika's Ntando Mnyandu is part of our team once again watching the story, and he joins us now live. It appears, Ntando, the situation is potentially getting worse there.
Yes, certainly what we've been seeing since first light this morning as the fire spreading to the second heap of wood chips here at NCT. And efforts have been made since the break of dawn this morning to try and extinguish the fire, but more so to try and contain it in one vicinity. We've seen helicopters dropping water bombs and some fixed-wing small aeroplanes circling the area, trying to drop water to try and contain the fire. But what we have also established this morning is that management from NCT have already started making talks with the disaster department of Fosco, and now Fosco is a company, a chemicals company adjacent to NCT. Now the fears are that should the fire spread, we might see an explosion. But to tell us more about that, we are now joined by NCT's General Manager, Mr. Danny Knudsen. Danny, a very busy morning for you. Obviously, you had a very late night yesterday. What can you tell us? What was in the agenda of your talks with Fosco?
Okay, so as you rightly have said, you can see the aircraft doing bombs here, and as you rightly said as well, our focus right now is on containment. We're protecting the undamaged piles so far, and we're putting fire retardant down. We are concerned the risk profile is high because later today the winds pick up, and as you rightly said, Fosco is in the front line of that. So I have had a meeting with their senior management and their disaster team. I know you mentioned explosion. I don't think there's any risk of any explosion as such, but they do have sulfur on site, and that could burn. And so they're going to make sure that they do everything they can at this time. Maybe it's more of a preventative measure, we hope, but you know we need to plan for those risks. The wind picking up later is a real risk, I think, for all of us, and we're doing what we can while the visibility and the wind allows the aircraft to continue to operate. We are not trying to put out the burning chip piles. We're trying to contain at the moment and protect the unburnt ones. That is the focus for most of today. The next 3 or 4 days are going to be quite a high risk profile, and we need to do everything we can to stop the fire from jumping. So there's a lot of risk there. I must also just commend my industry sector. We have support from forestry companies far and wide, from within the province, from Mafaraways and Mpumalanga, here on site with fire engines, and efforts are going unabated around the clock at the moment.
In our conversation earlier, you mentioned the difference in the shades of smoke that you are seeing. Can you explain to us, and our view was, because you mentioned that, well, some piles have water underneath, and you said correctly that some piles it's better to just leave them as they are. They will burn themselves up. So explain to us what we are seeing right now.
Misunderstanding. So there's two types of wood burning right now. One is good old gum that we all know, gum trees, eucalyptus. That has quite a slightly higher moisture profile in the wood itself, which is why that pile is giving out a little bit more darker smoke. So it's the moisture inherent in the wood. There's no water underneath the pile or anything. The other one, and the one closest on the left, is acacia, or what we commonly call black wattle. That is a lower water content, and that's why it's burning with a lighter plume of smoke that you see. When a pile like that gets big, there's a lot of water that you would need to try and put it out. So at the moment, as I said repeatedly, we're not trying to put those big piles out. We're just trying to contain them. They will burn down, and if we can contain them, they will burn down themselves over the next week or so. But that's right now, it's all about containment.
The structures are closer to the burning piles. Any fears that you might lose them completely?
In our minds, we've written them off already because their integrity would have been compromised by the heat. So from our purposes, we're not trying to save structure at the moment. All our efforts are on containment.
All right. Thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, that is Danny Knudsen, the General Manager of NCT, giving us an update. We shall keep you updated as our story keeps on taking new shapes and keeps on evolving. With that, it's back to you in studio.
Yeah, Ntando, Mnyandu, thanks very much indeed. Entering now day 3 of trying to extinguish this blaze, and you can see the fire itself and just how it's raging nowhere near over, with thick plumes of smoke covering much of Richards Bay, at least that area of Richards Bay. Really concerning this. And as Ntando mentioned, a story sharply on our radar.